Okay, so I'm back on a lovely Wednesday. Again, this week not my normal slot. The truth is, I'm not sure if I can manage the normal slot at the minute, so things are a bit all up in the air with that. So I'm here on Wednesday, staring out of a skull. I will explain what's going on in a bit, but first I'm just going to start by continuing the work I was doing beforehand. As people start to join us. Okay. So earlier today I got to finish objective 1. Okay. So the delay after that should probably be, I don't think it needs to be that long, but it should be set in stone. Some delays can be altered, particularly in the upcoming bit, but spawn seeds, army ant Medea unlock. Okay, so this one can be a controlled delay, so I'll do medium delay, which I can't what that's set to. I think it's 30 seconds. Okay, so then waves 1, survive the incoming attacks. Starts with 20 black ants. Okay. So medium short delay. Wood ants next. We have a medium delay on that one. Can you hear that lovely car alarm? It's lovely, isn't it? Okay, what's next? Devil's Coach Horse Larvae. I only think we need a short one there. So it's 10 seconds. Then Devil's Coach Horse Adult. Okay, so after the Devil's Coach Horse Adult drops, I'm going to go with the medium long delay, which is about 45 seconds, because I suspect that will take the player a little while to kill at this point. I'm not sure yet, I haven't tested it, so we'll see. Okay, Beach Tiger Beetle, again, medium long. Then Beach Wolf Spiders. That's not a delay, that just waits until it's died. Suddenly stream, yes. Suddenly there was a stream. Without warning. From out of nowhere, there was a stream. All right, Pactane and coffee now. Good to have you with us. All right, I am continuing work on the other foot level. I've basically got the whole level in place now, and I'm replacing the these little delays with proper ones. Rotate starting seeds. High level eruptors count for more in tubes. Okay, I'll do both of those. I'm going to go through until the end of this set of waves. Oh no, I'm there, aren't I? I'm there already. Okay, so we'll test up till that point. I need to... High level eruptors count for more in the tube. So... so in the tube, when we're dealing with arrivals, okay, so here's us checking for arrivals. Rather than incrementing it, we're going to add the level on. Okay, so higher level formicarium will count for more in the tube. Okay, that one's done. Cross that off my list. The next one is rotate the starting seeds. So essentially there's a bunch of seeds at the start and they're all the same rotation. Yeah, these ones as well. Which looks a bit odd, to be honest. What I really need to do is I need to build this into the level editing plugin. So you can place seed. I need to build it so you can place seeds within the plugin, or place food items within the plugin. And when you place a food item, it gives it a random rotation. But then also allow players to move them manually. Players allow us to move them manually. Ah, Carlam! Because this is such a tedious task. There's a bunch underground as well that need doing. I should really have thought about this when I put them in. Alright, that's probably enough for now. If it still looks weird, I'll deal with it later. Okay, so if anyone here isn't aware, this is a level I've been working on where you play as the rival Eruptor colony from the Formicarium campaign. So you've got a completely different set of units. You're in a different underground, and eventually you fight. I haven't tested that yet. The fighting the enemy colony. I basically went through and reversed everything, reversed all the enemy colony decision-making processes, and switched it for the first colony. So, with any luck, it'll work. I'm Not holding my breath though. Nearly there. Okay, that'll do for now. Save that. And I got to the point now where I've put the basics of the whole level in without really testing any of it. And then I was going through doing the more specifics of it, but we'll run a test for it now. We'll see how far we can get. I'm testing for things like whether bits get too boring at certain times as well. If there needs to be more enemies in, that sort of thing. Okay. Do any of these get eggs? Oh, I didn't. Oh well, something else has got an egg. That's fine, that's plenty. Everyone else keep at it. I give the player a lot more starting food here, because during my early tests it was taking ages to get off the ground. One of the first things you actually need to do in this level is put 40 ereptors into a tube, and without a decent amount of starting resources that became really tedious really fast. Ooh. My system's going really slow at the minute. Right, that's a bit better. I think it's a bit better. It's not, is it? It's not better at all. I'll play it small. Yes, it does. We noticed that. It's not. It's a bit stretched. Not really sure how you control that. There's something we can do to it. to fans sent enough spam mails to it. Right, so I've hit the point where I've got to drop a load of ereptors in the tube. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split my time between gathering resources and dropping them in the tube. Now, dropping ants in the tube indeed causes you to lose those ants. So you do need to have an amount of resources in the bank in order to complete the objectives. That said, the idea of only giving your raptors at the start is designed to kind of encourage you to build a few of them. Just me, or do I not have 7 underground ants? Even though it says I do. Oh no, that looks like 7. Nope. Okay, I want the excellent to play a lot sooner. I know it doesn't make much sense for the game, but as if it was the other mode, but I don't really want the player waiting around for no reason. This level is essentially it's the formicarium challenge, but done from the other perspective. All right, half nerd, good to have you with us. So, see, it's the formicarium challenge 3, but done from the other colony's perspective. But it's not just the formicarium challenge 3; it's all the stuff leading up to formicarium challenge 3. So in the background, you hear the other colony getting tested, and you need to supply the other the test with workers when he requires them. So at this stage, there's no real threat. It's just getting us used to the idea of supplying the tube with workers. However, that's about to change. Okay, so at this point, it wants me to constantly supply the tube. So I've got to send a sustained number of ants to the tube. That was not... Oh, hang on. Of course. Things are being sent to the opponent. Yeah, that's fine. So I've sent... I think I've sent enough of raptors in for now. Right. Oh. Right, CN are on Ragnarok. Good to have you back with us. As Mike says, the streamer highlight. I got a feeling I could have done with receiving some food there. So complete the objective on quotation marks. Perhaps that's enough for now. And give seeds. Okay. Oh, I've unlocked Army and Medea. Should probably build a few of them. Can't afford any at the minute, actually. Okay, I need to give the player a lot more food than that. I'll keep going until we die. Which isn't going to be long. Ooh, I need to give the queen ability. Don't I? Oh, God. Oh, it does have the ability. Good. Charge. Don't think it's going to be enough. Actually, it might be with the Royal Guard. Right. Honestly, I'd rather the player didn't have Royal Guard this early on. I'd rather it unlocked later on. So unlock Queen abilities later. Give player a lot more food and run up to first waves. Alright, coming back to chat for a second. Yes, there's my food. Loads of food supplied by the Queen ability there. I don't know how much longer I think my Royal Guard are about to run out, actually. I don't think I'm actually going to survive this. Royal Guard weren't enough. Oh yeah, we still need to do victory and defeats. Okay, that was a good test. We actually got quite some way. So, we didn't get to play with the army ants yet, unfortunately, but the mages don't appear till quite a lot later on. But we'll get there. Hopefully we'll get there today. Okay, so I've wrote down a list of things to do. I rotated the starting seeds already. So let's get on this. Right, excellent to play sooner. Okay, so at the minute, it's a medium short delay, which I believe is 20 seconds. I see okay, so I'll just put a short delay on there. Yeah, I understand why I wanted it to play sooner, because I don't think there's any need for a delay there. There's nothing particularly going on. So that's excellent to play sooner. That was fine. Complete objectives on perhaps that's enough for now. Okay, so finish flow 1. Is this perhaps that's enough for now? Let me check my chart 1 second. Looking for this. Yeah, that is indeed. Perhaps that's enough for now. Okay, so right that. I think that only needs 10 seconds. I'm going to leave the queen abilities on for now because I'll get a feel for where they should be put in, So I'll deal with that in a bit. It's victory. Second welcome. Okay, so here you've got a lot of time. So I think we should probably give the player some seeds. And probably quite a lot of seeds. There's basically a massive speech that goes on at that point over quite a long period of time. Okay, so if I give a really decent amount at this point, so 400. So that should allow the player to... And then shortly after that, the Army Ant Medeas unlock. So, I'm not sure what the Army Ant Medea attack values are. I should have a look, just out of interest. So I'm coming back to chat. Might be interesting to give the player something in return for ant supply overflow. And when the test tube collection ends. Yeah, I guess so. It's either that or you allow the player to judge when they should stop sending ants to it. Not sure yet. Like if you send too much, it's your fault. You can see the bar. Right. So taking a so I've already done a lot of this stuff. I think I should probably provide some more seeds during the waves as well. I mean, there are some seeds given. But I actually think during the waves is a good time to supply them because the player then has an opportunity to go fetch them if they can. Yeah, I'll drop a load during the wood ants, and maybe we can do another load during the Devil's Coach Horse. Okay, so I've given a lot more food now. So we should hopefully be able to get quite a bit further. In 3.2, To be honest, the Medea and the workers have the same stats. They're roughly the same size. Like the mages are ones that are really noticeable. But they're just interchangeable in that level. Question: what would happen if an ant carrying food is taken by the test tube? Where does the food go? I believe the food would be dropped. Because the creature, as far as I'm aware, is killed as part of the process. In part of the kill creature. So that's where the Erepta worker. That's where we check it's a worker. We kill it, and we count it towards the objective. So yeah, it's technically killed. So yeah, it dropped the food on the floor. Though if I know you, Huff Nerd, you'll be testing that out to make sure it is the case. To be fair, often we're convinced something is working one way, and the reality is that it's not. It's because the things get layered upon each other when you're working on a game like this. The game becomes so complicated that you lose track sometimes. This level's been a really pleasant one to work on, actually. I'll have a chat about some of the bugs as well soon. We'll discuss what's been fixed this week, including things that we thought were fixed last week, but actually will be fixed this time. There's been a horrific bug with I say horrific. It's been difficult to deal with. To do with the. But there's two really. There's one that's to do with the hand in the formicarium, and the other that's to do with the ramps. Now the ramps, essentially in the live build, the ramps were being initialized as the wrong ramp. So, although it looked fine, the reality was that it was that it had the path set up of the wrong ramp. So yeah, ants were getting stuck at the bottom of ramps and things. Only in the build that was sent out to Steam, not actually in the development build that I'm working with at the minute. It's what made it so difficult to track down. And something similar, I believe, happened with the hand. Either way, both of those have been fixed now. I haven't fixed either of them. They weren't in my area. No, I was protected by the mighty Phil, can never fail. Right. Now I've tunneled to the surface, that'll begin. I see what's happened. I've run out of food. As soon as I put these down, I'll have a load of workers spawn. Yeah. That's how bugs can like re-emerge that have been dealt with already. Everything's so complicated. I mean, you might have heard this before, but I find it quite amazing that games work at all. Alright. Question is, do I build any more workers at this point, or do I start saving? Oh, that's a bug that's been really hard to get rid of. Sometimes you can end up with the hover left on. I think Matt's tried to fix that one multiple times. Right. Do these Raptor workers have any traits like efficient brood, etc.? I don't think I do at the minute, actually. That was something I intended to do, actually. I wrote that down. So I've got unlock queen abilities later. So the idea is later on you'll unlock the queen abilities. But we can do the same with worker abilities. It's definitely worth us doing. Efficient brood's a good one, isn't it? I like evasive as well. Never mind, all items of code have two states. It doesn't work and we don't know why. And the second state, it works and we really don't know why. Yes. Right. So I believe the unlock sequence is Slave Maker, Army Ant, Trapjaw, then Army Ant Major. Oh, I haven't got enough food for any more. Right. Well, we're sending everyone in. Be careful of these because they do area of effect damage, which is actually really strong against the Raptors. Ooh, something to note. I am low on food now. Will I even have enough food to... Oh, these are worth 35 each, so yeah, I should do. See, potentially you could die just by not having enough food to spawn enough raptors. Yes. I'd like to do a mission purely about slave makers at some point. It could be a fun one. Then maybe you could make it so they do steal lava. Let's get some to the tube. God, that was a small reward. Is that all he gave me? I think it's a little bit off-putting having him saying stuff that's not happening to your nest. So it might be worth us trying to match creatures. So maybe you drop some in the enemies and yours at the same time. Tube defense creatures match. Speech. Because they're happening at the same time as well. Get out of the way, slave makers. Okay, that timer needs to be remove timer when not in use. Problem with that is the system's not designed to support it at the minute, so it require adaptations to the narration system. I don't really want to be spending time doing that. Hang on. There's a tactic for whip spiders and spraying beetles. Send your army at them. Once they make contact, turn off combat, let them swarm over it and turn it back on. Oh yeah, that you get a good AoE. You get a good surround of them that way, wouldn't you? And yeah. Would fade out when nearing the test tube. before being picked up be a good idea. It'd probably be a good idea, but as far as I'm aware, the fade out, the creature fade is creature specific and has an overhead, so you'd have to put it on all formicariums. Maybe it's possible, but again, I'm not really sure if it's worth the time investment. Maybe there's something I can do with the speech. I don't know. Oh, okay, I've got a lot of resources now. See if we can upgrade the slave makers. Okay, let's build some of the army ants. I haven't checked yet what these actually have. What they're. I'm not even sure if I ever designed the. Oh God, it's coming in already. Oh, they're cheap. Apparently their tile is... Oh, it's the same as the leaf cutter mid-ear, isn't it? Right, I'm just going to stick everyone on the same one. Unfortunately, I think I'm doomed. Died at exactly the same point. Because I can't get to the resources anymore. Okay, I think more resources at that point and more time as well. At the minute, I'm gonna see if the queen ability lets me get a bit further. So let me write that down. Okay, so more resources. I didn't see any of the... I mean, they might have been there. I might have just not been paying attention. So more... I think the Devil's Coach Horse adult wave as well needs to be smaller. Yeah, okay. More resources and time before black ants. Okay. Right, I can actually do that. For a start, I can bring this a bit earlier. So the army ants unlock sooner. Okay, so that's a huge amount more resources. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do 3 sets of 400. And at this point, when the army ant Medea unlocks, I'm going to give the player 60 seconds. Okay. Coming back to chat. Oh, is this your testing that's done this? So they're 50% stronger but also squishier than black ants, so spending so much food on them doesn't seem wise. Okay, so they're... Yeah, until you've got... Yeah. Do you think they need to be cheaper? This is the first time they've actually been introduced into the game, so maybe they need to be cheaper. What do you think, 30? I wanted to change the waves as well, didn't I? Okay, so there's a load more food there. Right, the wood ants, the wood ant wave. Where's the wood ant wave? Here's the wood ant wave. Okay, so what we've got is 10 level 3 mortars. Change that to 6 level 3 mortars. And 20 level 1. So they've got a lot of the... Okay. Okay, so that should nerf that wave quite significantly. So that's the Devil's Coach Horse larvae. Nerf that a bit. Right, this wave was bad. Nerf that a bit. Beach tiger beetles. Right, I'll just... Tiny nerf there. Beach wolf spiders. Okay, so bit of a nerf there. Okay, so every wave there has received a nerf. Slave Maker are both stronger and tankier than the black ant. I think there's possibly some scope for some balance changes here. Not much though. That's the thing. What we can adjust here is we can adjust the starting prices without affecting the game. We can't adjust the respawn prices without affecting the game because the respawn prices will affect the game because in the formicarium challenge 3 that will affect how much food the computer has to spend to respawn their army. So I can happily change a few things. Hang on, there's a big message here that I haven't read yet because it's so big. I've had a thought about ants giving food when killed. I remember the general balance reasons for not having it applied in broad strokes, but what about only ants? Only ants could gather 20% of the hatch cost of the ants they killed. Army ants, since everything included other ants. Oh, you mean you're talking about ants giving food when they die? I do worry that if we gave ants any food at all when they die, it would just run away. It just run away with it. Even if you just give them one food, I still think it would. We were considering it at one point, but I think we're going to stick to the rules we've got in place. On that front. I've been thinking about the free play food thing, and I think I'm going to experiment with turning that off now and turning scaling up slightly. So food drops don't scale down, and or maybe only scale down slightly, and the creatures get stronger slightly faster. So I think that's a better way of handling that in free play. We'll have a go. We can experiment with these sort of things. I think the reduced food costs, food values in free play is very unpopular. People don't like it. I think people are fine with creatures getting stronger as they play. I think that feels fairer to people than creatures reducing in food value. And I get that it's not very pleasant to kill something, like to take down an Uber, it barely drop any food. Although I think Ubers are exempt from it anyway. But we'll have a look at that anyway. What was I doing? So I've nerfed the waves. I've given more food. I've given more time. So I get 40 more seconds and some more food. Remove timer when not in use. You know what I reckon might have happened with it, because I think if the timer goes below 0, it's meant to disappear anyway. Or if it hits 0. So I'm wondering whether it stops before it hits 0. It might do. I'll deal with that in another point anyway. I'll have a think about that one. Okay, tube defense. Tube defense creatures match speech. Okay, let's have a look at let's have a look at that one. So, because he was saying, whoops, I dropped my beetles or something and a spider was appearing. So this is that. So have we got FEX1? You're doing admirably, my raptors. Perhaps a small reward. Look to the surface. Let's make things more interesting, shall we? Enter the Devil's Coach horse. That's this one. And a small beach wolf spider drops. Here, so this is to do with the food on the surface. That one's fine because he's talking about beetles at that point, so that one can stay. It was more this one that was the most jarring. To be fair at that one, I could use it as an opportunity to give the player some food. How about a woodlouse? Because he's talking about food. I did say I needed more food and space things out a bit more. Okay. I'm thinking that Army Ant Medea can perhaps be slightly cheaper. Not respawn wise, but build wise. So maybe they should be 30. Although I will check. I devised a formula to look up creatures' value. How much value they get. Basically how much damage they deal before they die. When they're taking a constant amount of damage. And I'll run them through that. So balance. Army Ants Medea cost. No, it doesn't. Half nerd. I've only put that into the into the battle arena. Okay. And balance slave maker costs as well. Right. Let's save it and give it another go, shall we? If I can get to the end of that run, maybe I should take a look at the next bit as well now before I attempt to run the level again. Spawned a lot of Devil's Coach horse, have you? Okay, so after that run, so it checks if the attack wave's dead. Completes the objective. I think at this point you're probably gonna... Oh no, there is quite a lot of seeds coming in there. Yeah, I'm just going to test it. I think I'll probably end the stream at... I'll aim for 2 hours, so it's another 50 minutes. I think the humming song that the scientist does about the spider, I believe that's just on a random chance. I'm guessing Liam put it on a random chance because he thought it'd be too annoying to hear every time. Invaded by the Scribble Monster. Stuns everywhere. Nothing in this mission starts until you dig to the surface. You really like pushing the game to its limits, don't you, Huff? You put points into the range. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Oh, it's happened again. How does that happen? What's the repeatable sequence that allows that to happen? There's bugs that I just can't pin down. By the time you finish balancing a level, you're so sick of it that you you forget that they're actually fun to play. Creating a game is very different to playing one. I've been playing through. I've been playing what's it called? Wilson a bit recently, as well as the Our Billions campaign, because I never played the campaign before. Now, Wilson had a lot of issues on launch. I don't know if any of you have had a look at it. It's still got a lot of issues, but they've dealt with the vast majority of they've dealt with the worst ones now. And I have had my fair share of bugs whilst playing it. But that said, the game is fun. I'm enjoying the storyline of the game. I'm partway through Act 2. Now with They Are Billions gameplay is really good. I always enjoyed the different style of They Are Billions. It's got similarities in a way to Empires of the Undergrowth, but it's more about fortifying yourself in. Whereas I like to think Empires of the Undergrowth a lot of the time we force you to push out. I mean, they do in a way in They Are Billions as well, but it's different. I'm not a huge fan of the voice acting in They Are Billions. I think they, although I don't think they particularly mind. The game is fun enough so you can ignore the voice acting. I'm not very far through at the minute. I got through the first few missions, which are like rated easy. I haven't done any of the rating 2 missions yet. I'm just looking for ways to break the game. Or funny mechanics to exploit, like mole cricket spawning logic. Yeah, the mole cricket, they do have very specific spawning logic. They don't spawn on the queen tiles. They'll spawn on top of any other tiles, but they won't spawn. They'll wait until you've got something else. So you could delay them by not building anything. I mean, that seems ridiculous. I mean, why would you not build anything? But you can delay them like that. But you can also, you could technically place lots of single rooms, because I believe they randomly pick a room, then randomly pick a tile within the room. So you could like put an array of single rooms down, and then because you had so many more rooms in that array of single rooms, you could I should be concentrating. You could have that as like a kill zone, because they're most likely to spawn in that area. Try 300 ants on a funnel web, it's great. I like the nice touch that the giant whip spider hitting 20 minute walks and makes the camera shake. Yeah, the camera shake's a nice one. We'll need to build that into some of the other big creatures. I like the added sounds to spider walking. Need more to shocking towers. An array of single rooms on path portals to the queen. Ah, you figured that you figured that one out already then, huh? Of course you did. Okay, so I should be receiving a lot more resources during this next bit. I think I need to try and keep myself on the surface as well, not retreat underground, because I'll cut off my access to the resources if I retreat underground. I think that would be bad. Oh, -1. Workers to the tube. Gone into minus figures. Right, I know what's causing that, because it's batch processing them and removing them, when really it should only remove up to the amount of it needs for the objective. Yeah, it's definitely that. So I need to. Thinking that I should possibly only let players do this level if they've done the if they've completed the campaign, because I think this level really doesn't make any sense at all if you haven't completed the campaign. Oh. What's going on here? I'm having a quick look at the AI of this thing. It might be something to do with the fact it's a slave maker ant. It's not it's missing something, maybe. Maybe it's pickup animation or something. Sorry, I need to concentrate. Right, I had this before, but I thought Liam had solved it. Maybe you didn't solve it for harvestables. Hang on, it is. This is inverse, so nearby resource is not harvestable. How? What? Devil's Coach Horse 2. What? You might have got it to run through a ramp, although I wouldn't worry about that at the minute until the next patch comes through. Right, so you've got another situation that's the same as your Huff. I thought Lima put a fix in place that would solve this. However, this isn't the same issue as the one I had before. Although your harvesting one might. We had a bug before, which I don't think is fixed at the minute. I think it's coming. The fix is coming out with this patch. I think, where basically it was getting confused about whether it was close enough to the resource. Either way, at the minute, I need to find out more information about this. So I need to. I need to know why this isn't rescanning. Its current target is set to a Devil's Coach Horse resource, which is currently underground. I think has been underground for some time. I need to go deeper into its AI, so I need to look at its decision-making process. So this is going to, unfortunately, I think this test is now ruined. Who are we? We are Slave Maker 6, Slave Maker C6. Okay. We're going to go into the creature's decision-making process. And we'll see why it's not looking at this new creature. My guess is that Liam might have undone something which was put in place a long time ago. But I can only guess at the minute. Alright, 1 second. Okay. This is the brain, so to speak. Okay, so I've put a breakpoint in there. Now we need to have a look until we find the correct creature. So it was Slave Maker 6. But there's quite a few creatures on the map now, so this could take a minute. But it's definitely worth doing. Well, it's not that one. Not that one. Looking for a slave maker. Oh dear, we've got all the enemies. So this is going through all the other colonies stuff. God, this could take ages. Oh. Slave maker C12. Okay, so we're getting there. It's the first slave maker we've had. And for C6. C0. C7. So close. I say so close. There's no real way of telling how close I am. It's not counting down or anything. It's just completely random order of when that specific creature is sending calls to its think command. Huh. Okay. Yeah, some cordyceps in here somewhere. Well, this is essentially the decision-making process. It's what this particular chunk of code is doing.
So make a C1. C6. This is it. Okay. Let's follow through what happens. Okay, so this creature, get owner, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't have an owner, keeps going. Is it climbing something? That should be a no. Does it have an AI effect? That should be a no. Reset behavior tree is false, so that's a no. Okay, get references to things we're going to need later. So held actor, nearby enemy. Nearby enemy. This colony creature. It hasn't looked for food yet. It's looking for enemies at this point. Doesn't have a held actor. Ability in use is false. Highlight my path. Oh, I think that's some debugging stuff Liam added. Okay, its priority list is essentially a list of things that it tries to do in order. So the highest thing in the priority, the top thing in the priority list is what it'll try and do first. The gathering thing I had happened only directly after combat. That could be telling. It might be that something Liam, like an optimization Liam's added, is basically trying to look at your current food item, and if it hasn't changed, not do another scan. That might be something Liam's added. I can see that as being something Liam would think might work. But I'm sure I've tried that before in the past. And the issue is that if you're targeting something that is a food, but you can't pick it up, it just breaks. Don't harvest is false. Don't know what that is. Don't run fresh scans. My guess is it's this. My guess is this gets set to true at some point. But we'll see. We will see. Okay, so this colony creature, tile grid. Available food storage, there's plenty. It's set to standard resource gather type. Unreserved food storage. There's plenty. Alright, don't run fresh scans is false at the minute. Okay. He's getting a random number. Looks like he's using a random number to randomly not rescan. So don't refresh scans has come out as false. Okay, so Temp Gather has come out as Harvestable Root Dead Creature 3, which I'm assuming is correct. This really is difficult to tell. Linked creature, Woodlouse C2. Okay, so I'm assuming that's correct. I will check, but when in doubt, blame Liam. Liam's recently been doing a lot of optimizations which have gone over code that I haven't touched in years. So he asks me if he can change this thing, if it would be sensible to change this thing, and I can't remember. So but the optimizations, he's done sweeping optimizations across the board. Right, so that's coming back right. Okay, so temp gather is correct. Right, so we have a harvestable resource here. That said, I don't see with the optimization anymore. Because I would have thought if he put an optimization in, it would have come from fresh scans. Hi. Your game is the best of its kind. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, there's not that many Ant games out there, to be fair. There's a couple. There's a couple that have been all right over the past 5 years or so. But I think our one's the most comprehensive. Okay, so this won't be the most interesting part of this stream, or maybe you will find this interesting. But I'm pouring through a creature's decision making process at the minute, and trying to pinpoint the moment that it says, "No, I'm not going to target this woodlouse. I'm instead just going to keep targeting this enemy that's miles away." So we're in here. We register harvester. Okay. Okay, registered fine.
setting the blackboard to gather food. Not sure what's going on there. So the only thing I can see this is if the blackboard has a target or yeah, I do know what that is. That looks like an optimization to oh no, if the blackboard's got a target, it sets it to null pointer. That's what that does. So that'll set it to null pointer. Okay, so it only does this bit if don't run fresh scans is true, if false. Don't run fresh scans is false, which it is, and we're a colony creature, and we're a colony creature that is not on the surface. So that is false. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. I didn't see us set current target. Maybe it doesn't set current target. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so we're in the next run. So this is the next time round, but this is the point where it registers the harvester. Looking forward to the next update as always. Yeah, well the next update will be it's just going to be a bug fixing one, I think. I don't think there's any new content coming to it. This level that I'm working on now is not going to be ready. And we're hoping to release to the main branch soon, really. So I'll probably spend the rest of the week working with the others to focus on bug fixes. I've been working on the level for the first half of the week, but I really do think I need to get back to bug fixing, which is what I'm doing at the minute, to be fair.
Okay, so this is the creature coming in. Right. Okay, I see an issue here in that the creature's target is not going to get set. Because the creature's target gets set here. So okay, so bear with me a second. Let's walk through what I think is happening and what the bug is. Here it looks like, and this might be new because I know Liam made some changes. Harvestable resource. I'm going to have a quick look at. I'm going to compare the current. I'm going to have a look in harvestable resource and see when the most recent changes were made, and see if, because this is you've already been selected to harvest it, so you're just refreshing your interest on the thing rather than newly registering to it. So you're just resetting the timer, which says someone else can be interested in it now. But when doing that, we're not actually setting the target. So say you registered to harvest something, then in your next thought process, an enemy was nearby, so you registered to attack that. So you instead went to attack that enemy. That enemy dies, and before your interest on the initial thing you were harvesting runs out, you go back to try and harvest it again. So therefore your target's changed. However, because this doesn't set the target here, it sets it down here when you're newly registering to it. It's it never sets the target back to the creature, and it never gets a target point, so it never gets the location it should head to or anything like that. Okay. The only proper saving here comes from EOTU random point, which it needs to use to get a harvester. My guess is Liam might have done this because he was trying to reduce the calls to that. Now, it doesn't need calls to that reduced by a huge amount. Let's take a look. That's just my guess. Harvestable resource. The last change to it happened on the 19th of February. Before that, the last change was the 13th of November. Liam did something that said food drop and resource move to problems fixed. Haha. And a redundant resource scan removed from gather subtree. Now, my guess is the redundant resource scan might be the issue here.
Okay, so this is an old version of. This is an old version of the same file I was looking at. This is the current version. This is the old. Oh no, this is the old version. This is the current version. So in the current version, in register harvester, that's where it's getting stuck. In the old version, that's the same. Okay, so where is this redundant resource scan? Thanks for coming by. Sorry, I'm deep in the code at the minute. I'm determined to squash this bug whilst I'm here. Okay, so I don't actually think this has been changed at all. Nor do I think that this is the problem. I think the problem is that redundant resource scan. But in order to check that, I'm going to have to ask Liam about it. Okay, right. I said I would go for 2 hours, and we're hitting that mark now. So before I go, I will speak about some of the changes that have happened recently. It was Wednesday I last put out a build, was it? I think so, Wednesday the 19th. Just having a brief look over what's a few things that have happened since then. Okay, there's the package point. Matt's added the minims onto both sides of leaves when level 3s are holding them. Matt's continuing his work on the skirt, as he called it, building process, which is an area outside of the map that the tile grid actually builds onto. So the edge of the map now is built into the tile grid. Tile grid has some wall boxes that set up location on either. Okay, so that's just more work on walls. I believe that's potentially working to deal with edge cases, ants at the edge of tile grids. Debug bit, just debug info. Changes to pickup logic to prevent getting stuck in pickup. Added a padding option to tile grid lookups for when the input. Okay, we oh, one sec. Potential ramp fix for floating point error. So some ramp fixes come in. Yeah, so there's ramp fixes that are coming in that should finally solve that one. I've been working on the other foot level, the level. Corrected an error that led to the ramp collision not initializing correctly when a level was started. So that's the ramp issue fixed. Fix the Citus hand for package games. That's the hand fix. I adapted the Underground Builder plugin a bit just to make level editing a bit easier for us. Updating swarm creature stats, suit new movement. Okay, so there's movement changes that has required Liam to update a load of stats.
fix the potential lookup problems where the wrong grid is selected. Okay, so that was a bug that come in this week. So essentially, there's a bit more work gone into it, and a couple of major bug fixes that are coming. Yeah, it was Thursday. You are right. It is here on the 20th. Okay. I'm also going to hopefully tomorrow do a balance pass again of free play, and I'll implement I'll remove the food scaling, or seriously reduce it, and instead increase the creature scaling slightly. But yeah, that is us for today. I've still got a bit more work to do balancing this level, but hopefully by next week it should be at a state that it's balanced somewhat. Then maybe we can add it to the beta so people can beta test it before we start actually rolling them out one at a time when we actually do release it. I'm going to try and stream again, but I can't be sure when it's going to be. I might be able to... I might be able to manage one on Friday, but similarly I might not be able to. So if that's the case, I'll see if I can manage one over the weekend. Half Nerd loves his testing. Right. So thanks very much for joining me. I'm going to speak to Liam about this bug now and get it dealt with once and for all. I can see why it's happening. I don't see why it's happening over what was happening before, but my guess is that whatever this redundant scan Liam removed was actually causing it not to fail. But anyway, we shall see. Right. See you later. Thanks very much. Ta-ra.